no holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs to anything. I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies. Train go by, it's kill or be killed. I wonder who lives. Too long to stay outside. Too long to be alone. Just let it go. Just let it go.
Good morning, everybody.
Just let it go.
It's Monday, June. What day is it, Leslie?
January.
January, June.
I wish it was January. I'm tired of being
June.
so hot and muggy and humid.
June 17th, 2024.
It is June 17th today.
We are live from the Peterson Health Digital Studio at Pine Plow Brewing Company. I'm Louis Amestoy, your host. Leslie Jones. How was your weekend, Leslie Jones?
It was all right. How was yours?
I ran
were
around,
busy.
I ran around like a maniac.
You sure did.
On
Saturday.
Look, folks, I'm not gonna lie. I went to the Blues Fest, and the first guest that I had there, or first person that was playing, was Lorraine Lamont. And I gotta tell you, folks, I wanted to run for the exits because I don't know that she sang a song. She just kind of screamed the whole time.
But who came on after?
The RBQ band, they restored order.
All right.
Oh,
So there was some highlights for you.
my God. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's the challenge that anybody faces when they give a crazy person the microphone. That's what happened on Saturday. And unfortunately, I wasn't able, because there were so many things going on, I wasn't able to stick it out. So I don't know. There was
There was a lot going on Saturday, and it was hot.
Yeah. By the way, don't forget to go to Ken Silva Ford for all your service needs. To make an appointment today at 830-257-5557. This week we're going to do the Bald Truth podcast, by the way, with Greg A. Richards, attorney at law. He will be here Wednesday. We try to pin him down more regularly, but he's really handsome. If you haven't seen Greg Richards.
He's quite striking man.
Yes, he is. Also, don't forget tomorrow the real estate report with Janelle Peralt. That'll be tomorrow. We'll talk about how the real estate market is just thrilling and exciting. By the way, Leslie, Texas A&M fans. Let me put this up so you can actually see it.
Is this the stuff that happened at the football game or the
Baseball
baseball game? Yeah, I was reading about that this morning.
Did you read about
it? Yeah, they're like not welcome back.
They banned them for life.
But honestly, as they should be.
Yeah.
That was inappropriate.
These two jackasses were...
I think it was like, and they were proudly wearing their Aggie memorabilia. I was like...
The Omaha
not
cops,
a good look.
The Omaha cops actually... let me see if I can get this up here so we can see it. Are you an A&M person? You're tech, right? Okay, hold on a second. But your boss is, though.
Yes, I do work for an
Your
Aggie.
boss, you're an Aggie? You're an Aggie? Okay, wait a minute. This is going to make you cringe.
There was some people that did not did not hold up
They did
the
not
school
hold
very
up the
well
school
this
very
weekend.
well.
I was thinking we were going to talk about the Grand Slam at this
No.
Super Regional.
Yeah.
I don't know
this-
about this yet.
This, unfortunately, is going to overshadow it in the news.
Let me convert this over so we can actually see this thing. There was apparently, I don't remember who was the team that. Let me see this. Why is nothing working today? These are the questions I have to answer, Leslie. No, I can't. I don't have it. All right, we'll figure it out later. But these A&M fans were wearing their gear, and they got themselves sideways, and they were screaming at the other team about the death of the team's ball boy and
the bat boy.
Bat boy. Let me see here.
During the game, as like a heckling,
They were heckling.
it had gone all, like it had gotten way too heated,
Yeah.
but they also went way too far.
Two men dressed in Texas A&M gear were escorted from a college World Series game Saturday night at Omaha's Charles Schwab Field for harassing the Florida dugout, and now they face a ban from the park. And the Omaha Police Department said that they are definitely banned. So
I think
said
they banned them from the city.
Yeah. Omaha police tweeted, heckling an opposing baseball team about the tragic death of their bat boy is beyond unacceptable. Glouder officers and security threw this duo out of Charles Schwab Field. You're no longer welcome in the city, and you should be banned for life from future College World Series. That's the cops.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I think
Oh, is it not working?
you're not a live feed right now.
Oh, I'm just talking about Janelle.
Yeah. I'm sure she's loving this.
Who cares? Yeah, so, it's all right. It's all right. We want to talk about Janelle Peralta anyway. That was our morning news. I did go to Katrina Kane. Saw her in concert. I got to say, there was a small crowd there. Aww. I was a little disappointed in the crowd. And, it was like, it was full in like certain parts, like the sides, but there was no one up top, and it was kind of sparse in the middle. And she gave a good show.
Of course she did. She's very talented.
Yeah, I would listen to 4 songs. That's my limit on most concerts anymore. 4 songs, I'm out. But she played the piano later too, and she was
what a talented little powerhouse.
She's delightful. She's delightful. Come on, Kerbo, we got to be better about these things. We need to pack out these places.
I know.
Then I also did Trailhead and Pine and Plow to round out my 5 places that I went to.
Nice.
over the weekend. Oh, I also went to MT Bain's thing at
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Good. I'm glad that was lovely.
He had a big band, and they all covered songs, and then MT sang his own stuff. That was at the Kerr County Veterans Center.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nicely attended event.
Good.
So, although the acoustics in there are kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah. What's an armory?
It's an armory. It's just concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're almost probably better not even amplifying it because it's just so loud.
Yeah, it'll just do it on its own.
Lots of news and notes to get off to start the day with. Tonight we have this afternoon we have the Economic Improvement Corporation. They're going to figure out the $2 million they're going to give to Heart of the Hills Heritage Center and $140,000 to James Avery so they can put a signal over there in front of James Avery's plant at Texas 27. I don't think they call it a plant, but it's like what do they call it? An artistic center?
Probably.
A center for excellence. A center for making money. There you go. I rewatched in Mike Whitler's honor. I rewatched Godzilla -1 for Father's Day.
How was it the second time around?
It was even better.
Good.
Even better.
Still holds up.
Whitler probably hasn't seen it yet. Can you confirm or deny, Tammy, that Mike has not seen Godzilla -1? I need to know these things.
I would say probably.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been busy.
Who cares if he's been busy? I mean, he's trying to build a power plant. We get it. I mean, but come on now. The Kerrville Independent School District Board of Trustees meets tonight. They're going to honor Heather Engstrom, who's retiring after 20 years for the district. She is the assistant superintendent. I didn't realize until I went to the folk festival that she's the other half of Phil's Barbecue.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
That is cool. And I was like, why, Heather and Delaney, why are you working here? Oh, that's your, now I got it. Phil's the man.
Yeah.
But
Phil's
I'll tell
the
you,
face.
Phil's Barbecue, I'm telling you right now, the best nachos in town.
They know their stuff.
They know that
we
brisket.
have some great food vendors around here.
You know what? I'm not the biggest brisket fan in the world. I don't really get the brisket thing, but I mean brisket nachos though, I get that.
Yeah. I think it's just probably because you weren't raised where it was just a staple, like a thing.
Well, yeah, it was kind of a thing. It was one of those things.
Well, you're a tri-tip guy.
Yeah, we're a tri-tip guy. It's more steak than like.
Yeah, that's why.
Than dry beef. But back in the day though, my dad liked this horrible, awful, like frozen, like chipped beef, and it was from Texas.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day at the office.
It was like in this sauce, and you heat it up and eat it with sandwiches and stuff. It was god awful. I've
always lovingly heard it called shit on a shingle.
Well, it is shit on a shingle. That's what it was. That's what my you realize that my dietary. This is probably why I have medical issues now. My dietary issues growing up were, Banquet's frozen fried chicken, Vandy Camp's fish sticks.
This will set you up for success.
Yeah.
And not a vegetable to be in sight.
I know. And then my dad started getting into Chinese food, and we bring the stuff that's in the can.
And there comes the MSG.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason why. MSG makes everything taste better.
The greatest canned food though still is tamale and chili. Tamales and chili from Hormel in a can. It's delicious.
God, that made my stomach fall out. Jesus Christ, I can't even look at you.
There's people out there who would agree with me on that one.
I believe you.
You know that to be the case. So, by the way, did you see the story? I had it in the newsletter this morning, but this was amazing.
Oh, I haven't opened it this morning.
Oh, okay.
I opened it yesterday.
There is a white supremacist convention happening in Fort Worth later this summer, put on by a group called True Texas.
Oh, great.
Yes, and guess who?
There's a lot of places that use that branding. They're probably loving that right now.
Yeah, I mean, guess. Isn't that an HEB?
There's
thing?
that.
Yeah.
I think Shriner has their own little True Texan thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure they're not the only ones either.
The Texas Tribune, which has been all over these guys, has basically reported that the people were bailing out of this thing, and so here's how they described this. Right, it was so bad that the Texas Public Policy Foundation, which has some bona fide lunatics in it, said that they wouldn't do it because it was so bad.
They wouldn't even touch it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But guess who was supposed to be there or supposed to be part of this? Our own Wesley Verdell was supposed to be there. So I think
I've already made my thoughts clear about Wes Verdell.
Wait a minute. Let me get to this. Okay, here's what they said. Here's how they described it. It's absolutely vital. We remember that when they say white supremacy or white nationalism or whatever the most recent scare phrase is, they literally just mean your heritage and historical way of life. It's a culture war, or the session was multiculturalism and the war on white America. It's a culture war, simple as that. Stop apologizing, stop backing down, start fighting back. I mean, like if you're like, I don't know what defines being white anymore.
Oh, they're trying to stoke the flames for another civil war.
I mean, you're pretty white, Leslie. I mean,
yes, I am.
At you know?
I can't deny it one bit.
Yeah, I mean, so.
And I don't feel, I don't feel like I'm being.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm under anyone's thumb.
I don't
not
think
for being white.
I don't think you're being warred upon.
No.
You know, so, but yeah, that's a deal. That's happening. And there's some other thing. Oh, by the way, speaking of Texas, the only good thing that happened in Texas A&M this last week, because they're probably going to be like 3-9 in the SEC this year, is that George Strait, who admitted he had never stepped foot in Kyle Field. On Kyle Field's land. He did
that
a concert.
That is the story of the day.
110,000, which is a U.S. record. He defeated the Grateful Dead.
Wow.
Yes.
And that tracks.
Yeah. 110,000 at Kyle Field for George Strait.
I wonder what his set list looked like.
Well, he had 3 people playing with him. I'm sure. I saw some videos of it.
But what his songs he chose?
He covered all the biggies.
All the good stuff.
I mean, he only has like 50 number 1 hits, so he probably
just went through the
whole
best
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't even put them together. They just kind of spin a wheel.
It was in the round too. They didn't close.
Wow.
So they didn't close off.
How interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I don't know if I want to see an artist perform from the backside.
No.
You know?
No. Well,
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Just getting in the front.
He moved around. They had big screens up and everything. But 110,000. The previous record I said was 107,000. It was set in 1977 by the Grateful Dead. I want to say, and apparently he had another concert. This is his second concert where he's had over 100,000. He had 104 in 10 years ago at AT&T Stadium, which is hard to believe. AT&T Stadium is like over 10 years old now. It's crazy. That was over the weekend too. Did you go, Mrs. Paxton?
No.
What about you, Tammy? Did you go? Are you a George Strait person?
I am.
You are? You'd go though, right?
I would.
He should come here and play at Arcadia.
Didn't his son graduate from Texas A&M?
Well, probably, but he never stepped foot in there.
Really?
So, yeah.
I
It seems
just don't
just
wanna
weird
see
that at all.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't expect that at
Yeah.
all.
I don't want a big concert like that. I've seen him 4 times. I'm a fan,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
not my venue.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $300, $400 to sit a
Agreed.
mile away.
Right.
I'm not paying anything to see any of those people. So, unless I get on a media pass, I'll go. I'll stay for 3 songs and get the hell out of there. That's what I do.
Can I borrow your media pass after that?
Absolutely.
Hey, you know how
Absolutely.
easy it is to make a media pass, and there's no regulations on them.
There's no regulations on it at all.
Good to know. Good to know.
I can whip you up right. Might as well get done with the show. Give
Game
me,
on.
Give me 30
Absolutely.
minutes.
Test scores came out for all the star testing, and everybody. Here's the thing. As a layperson, you look at it and you're like, okay, well, what does this mean exactly? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what the hell it means.
Which is crazy because it's a standardized test.
Well, I know.
It should have it's like parameters.
Well, there's times like, you look at things and you're like, is this class just a bunch of dummies or what happened to them,
well, I think standardized tests aren't for everyone because not everyone tests well.
Well, I know that, but you have like one grade, like in the fourth grade, they did really well in reading and math, and then the next year, awful. So these are the things we got to figure out, right? I mean, let me see. I can give you some examples here. Most of the time, they did really well with these tests. Like Ingram did really well. Hunt, of course, was like crushed it. They were like 100%, but they have like 10 kids a class. So this is third grade through eighth grade. So it's not Tivy. So it's Peterson Middle School, then all 4 elementary schools, and it was interesting to see this. There were some real problems though in certain grades, like sixth grade and seventh grade. And it's got to be like the brain starts working in a different direction at that age.
Probably, and I'm sure with probably how COVID changed education in 2020.
Right.
That probably we have to incorporate. That's what. Yeah, it changed a lot of the landscape. Yeah.
They also probably now have a thing in their hand all the time.
Yeah.
Which changes your attention span. Changed mine. I'm an adult.
You are an adult. You're an amazing adult too, by the way. Thank you so much.
Questionable.
Let me see. Why is this not popping up the way it should be? What is going on with this? There we go. Everything is so slow today. Someone said they couldn't get to the obituaries today. That's not true. Okay, so in reading and math, Centerpoint has some challenges in third grade. 55% approached or met the standard or above the standard. Right, that's the kind of the baseline of this. 78% in reading. Ingram was 86 and 87 math and reading. And then KISD was 79 and 85. That's a grade 3. And then you go up, and there was when was the sixth grade? If you look at years to date, you follow them through, and it's there are some curious numbers. So seventh grade math and reading, KISD 57% were met or above the standard for math. 63% seventh grade in Ingram. 69% in, so obviously the Centerpoint sixth grade, seventh graders, they got to figure it out because they had pretty good scores. Reading also not very good either. 80% met the standard. 76% met the standard in Kerrville. So there were some areas of improvement that are needed. So I don't know how they look at it. And fourth grade, Centerpoint, 37% of the kids met the approached or above the standard in math in there. They were way below everybody else. Ingram was 85, KISD 70%. So a lot of areas to cover there as well. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Are we done with the show now?
You might want to tell your guests.
Oh, Leslie. Stuff and things. What's going on with stuff and things?
Yeah, let's get through it.
Let me fix your camera real quick. It's not quite right, Leslie.
Okay. I don't know what you're doing here when I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, you have people watching.
Okay.
It's another big week. I opened your email yesterday. I think we have another 80 things going on.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. More camps happening. Kids Theater Camp at Hill Country Arts Foundation. Also, the Young Artist Camp is still going on at Hill Country Arts Foundation. Go get your kiddos signed up for that.
Do it.
And then the Western Art Camp is back over at the Museum of Western Art all this week. Another great camp to take advantage of for some day camps. Of course, art happening. The Texas Watercolor Society show still going on at the Hill Country Arts Foundation. It's a stunning exhibit. Go check it out. It is free. So is Our Place in Space over at Riverside Nature Center, which is going on all year. But it's awesome. Go over and check it out. Let's see. You've got later on, I think this is tomorrow, over at Hill Country Atelier is having another workshop. It's a realistic drawing workshop, so if you want to get in on that, that is on tomorrow from 9:30 to 12:30. And then, of course, the Southwest Gordon Fiber Fine Art Show over at Kerr Arts and Cultural Center. Still going strong. It'll probably be wrapping up here shortly, so go check it out while you still can. Stunning exhibit. It's lovely. And it's free, which is even better. Tomorrow night over at Riverside Nature Center is Nature Nights. I'm helping host as a board member, and it's Jeopardy. So bring your kiddos. You could win probably some prizes, and it's a good time, and it's educational. So come hang out with us tomorrow, 6 to 7 at the Riverside Nature Center. Let's see. You've also got over at the library tomorrow evening from 6:30 to 7:30 is the Poetry and Prose Group meeting. So go hang out with those kids. As we get into the rest of your week, of course, on Wednesday you have Kirk County Produce Market Day at the Big Red Barn from 10 to 5:30, and the Friends of the Library Book Sale from 1 to 3. The Native Plant Society Book Club is meeting also tomorrow at the library from 12 to 1:30, and they'll have a movie chat. They'll have a movie chat also tomorrow. You want to go to that? 3:30 to 4:30? I'm sure that's your people. Let's see. You get into
what are they discussing again?
I think you have to go to find out what movie. Maybe you can go discuss Godzilla.
Yeah.
Let's see. Watch a movie, then join the club for a discussion. So they've already decided the movie. You might be crashing with Godzilla, but maybe you bring it up for future
I think so.
chats.
I think so.
I think this is a group for you. Let's see. We've got live music always happening. What's up?
By the way, Maya's jumping in here. Moonrise Kingdom.
I'm sorry.
That's the name of the movie.
Is that what they're watching?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have time to watch that real fast. If you want to go join the chat.
No.
Maybe you can work Godzilla into it still.
Maybe.
Thursday, you also we've already made it to the third Thirsty Thursday, so there's trivia at Arcadia Live, 6:30 to 9:30 for you to enjoy. Those tables sell out like super quick, so call and see if you can still get one, or weasel your way onto a team. You need a team of
Moonrise
6.
Kingdom, by the way, is a Wes Anderson movie.
Oh, of course it is.
Bill Murray,
Delightful.
Bruce Willis, Edward Norton,
That's a nice lineup.
Jason Schwartzman.
Because I almost thought it was going to be an anime film.
Yeah, right.
The title went. Man, was I wrong?
Yeah.
Let's see. You also have, I think it's the final weekend for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the Hill Country Arts Foundation. Get your tickets for that. It's an amazing show. I've heard great things. And it is the second weekend for the Charitable Sisterhood of the Second Trinity Victory Church at Playhouse 2000 VK Garage. Their opening weekend was this past weekend.
I like it.
Also very funny. Go see it. A ton of live music happening. You've got Mishmash playing at Gravity Check on Friday. You have karaoke as always. Let's see. On Saturday, you have the farmers markets going on. Heart of the Hills officially going to be in downtown Kerrville on June 22nd.
Okay.
So they're going to be right there. The parking lot where it's Water Street and Earl Garrett meet, where the Star is, they're going to be right there. So they're going to be a little bit more. They brought it closer to you in Kerrville. You don't even have to cross the river to get there. Or if you're on that side of town, you have to cross the river. So sorry, come hang out with us. So that's 9 to 1. And then, of course, Hillside Harvest Market is 9 to 1 over at Carlson Law Firm. That's the old Wells Fargo at 5 Points. The Kerrville Skateboard Competition on Saturday. Singing Wind Park, but kicks off at 10 a.m. Good luck to all those participating, especially you kiddos. You're very talented.
Wear your damn helmet, too.
Yes, please wear your helmet, at least. I get it doesn't look cool.
I'm so sick of those guys that show up. I'm not wearing my helmet.
Is a real deal. Let's see. Kerrville Pets Alive doing Burgers in the Park on Saturday from 11 to 1. And Arcadia having Kid Fest on Saturday from 11 to 1. So Saturday's already starting out to be like a really solid day. There's going to be an exhibit over the library on Saturday about Hill Country baseball history from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
On Saturday, and then we get into even more live music. Paul Hillard is playing, I believe, at Trailhead. You've got Family Night Live. That's not at Trailhead. I think that's at Gravity Check. Family Swim Night at Kerrville Olympic Pool. Tyler Preston playing at Trailhead. Let's see. Kreider's going strong also, and as we get into further into the summer, can't talk this morning. You have rodeo starting at 8, dance to follow, and a ton of things to do and enjoy.
By the way, the show is also sponsored today by Caliche Coffee.
Thank you, Caliche Coffee.
Caliche Coffee. Come by to Pine Plow today and pick up a copy. Pick up your Hill Country blend of this.
Oh, I missed even Sunday. Do you know there's even on Sunday you have Garden Days at Turtle Creek Olive and Vines from 12 to 6.
Yeah.
And then Billy Mata is playing on Sunday.
Who's that?
I grew up listening to Billy Mata. He used to play live in Uvalde all the time.
Oh, really?
So he's like my own little local celebrity.
Yeah.
But he's playing in the Texas Traditions. Let's see. He's going to be at the Calos. Get your tickets for that.
Get it done. I wonder how the Oak Ridge Boys thing went.
I know. We should find out. Ask Amy and find out.
I didn't stop by that one. All right. Here's an important thing for you. Probably the most important event of the year always is the Hill Country Charity Ball. because it's people get dressed up and then they go to the ag barn where there had been a pig show the week before.
That's in the other barn.
That other barn doesn't work anymore. Remember that whole thing? The other barn?
Well, they keep the pigs in the big show barn.
Yeah.
And then the expo hall is where you get your awards.
What's the difference?
And you get your auction.
Don't they bring the pigs in
Because
there?
one's AC has AC and one doesn't.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, here's the deal. The pigs.
One has big ass fans in it and one doesn't.
The pigs and the goats and all that stuff, those are actually pleasant compared to the dog show. The dog show might be the smelliest thing out there.
Agree to disagree.
It's terrible.
You've never smelt it after, because in the big show barn, they have to bring in, when they bring in all those pins,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a concrete floor, then they have to bring in all the shavings.
Yeah. They
And all
don't-
of that just smells like the worst hamster cage.
Well, at least I don't know. I nearly died 3 or 4 times in the dog show because I'm allergic to dogs for the most part.
That's why.
So, but I love
You
dogs.
should have started with that.
Yeah.
But it
You
smells
buried the
bad.
lead.
Yeah, I buried the lead. But the most important event of the year is always the Hill Country Charity Ball. People look forward to it. Sometimes there's shenanigans, sometimes there's not. There's a lot of drama that happens at that thing. It's really quite lovely. And every year they try to outdo each other. So I think that I don't know what next year's theme. I think that we've had tropical themes too of the last.
It was like
3 years.
Miami Nights this last
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So Lacey Paxton's here. Her daughter's going to Texas or Lubbock Christian.
Yes, she's already there.
Is she?
Yeah,
You already
she's
kicked her out.
been gone 2 weeks.
Man. Oh, because she has to do like cheerleading and stuff, right?
Correct. Yes.
Do they play football there?
No, they are a basketball. they're
Basketball,
predominantly
basketball,
Basketball, baseball, volleyball.
Right. Tammy, did you get rid of all your kids out of the house? Are they all kicked out? Or are they still living with you?
Still live.
Oh my gosh. What are the
Starts her
ages?
senior year this year. So
Okay. All right. How's K-Pub treating you?
very well.
Very well.
Like
They're
busy.
they're well behaved. How about Allison Boucher?
She's always a problem.
I know. Is she trying to hawk like her barbecue stuff there? You know, is she?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. I'm just making sure.
Everyone, every day, there's like a quota they have to buy
Yeah.
by the end of the week.
How about Amy Dozier? How's she doing?
She's doing great.
You know, by the way, my kid left her sunglasses at my house yesterday for Father's Day, and she was supposed to
New
come by.
Father's Day gift.
She was supposed. These are terrible. She's supposed to come by and pick them up, and then she didn't bother. So, too bad. Do you have? So your kids are out. Your kids out. You have a big gap in your kids.
Yes, we have 12 years between our girls.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a kindergartner and a senior. We were like the bookends for
Wow.
Ingram.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that though, because mine are 8 years apart. So, but you know what? It still didn't stop them from fighting.
No. Our little one does miss our big one. She's like, who am I going to bother now?
Yeah.
Tammy
right.
said Drew.
Yeah. Right. Just bother your dad.
Bother
Yeah.
your dad. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, and what? Give me your ages again for your kids.
I just have one, and
One.
he's 17.
17. Oh, okay. What is it like feeding a 17-year-old boy? It's been it's been a minute for me.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I had the 3 little men, and I swear, my oldest grandson, we took him to Freddy's, and he got a hot dog there, right? A chili dog. Well, he ended up dropping like the last bite of it, on the floor, and he was crushed. And I said, "Oh, I'll buy you another one." He ate that one. I said, "You want another one?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Mom, Dad, no." And he was like,
He
ready
was
to-
like, I can keep going.
is I can do it. I can put.
Watch me put these away.
Exactly. And going out to eat anymore, even at fast food, is like, I think we spent $80 at Freddy's. We went to Cafe in the Ridge, spent $130,
Yeah.
and I would say that we got just as much food at Cafe at the Ridge.
As you did at Freddy's.
Freddy's, right? So everything's expensive these days. Which means that what we should do is we should form a coalition of people who need to eat and have the charity ball pay for it in the next year, a fast food fund.
You can apply for the grant,
Yep.
and if
Yeah,
it meets
right.
our parameters, we'll look at it.
You don't pay for salaries or other stuff, right? That's right.
Correct. Yes, we don't pay. We won't
Yeah.
pay for like
Volunteers.
We don't
It
pay
goes
for
to,
like
like-
overhead expenses.
Overhead
Yeah.
expenses.
It has to be
Specific
project-based.
programming. Yeah.
Project.
You did buy the nice couches for Arcadia, which are lovely. That was a lovely addition. So
Yes, that was. I mean, some people thought that was a little weird. But when you look at it, if they can open for events where they can make more money
Yeah.
to make the theater sustainable, then they can offer it for free like they will this week for us. You know, and that's helpful.
It is helpful. I mean, that's an important part of the deal. I'm trying to zoom in on you two rather than the top of my bald head. I started using that.
We should start putting temporary tattoos there.
I could put that. Where's that Peterson thing I have?
Yeah, you should sell that as
know.
ad space. So you have coming up is like how to apply, like what
Gain
y'all are
control
looking
of the
for.
show, Leslie.
Is that correct?
Yes, we have. Well, first and foremost, let me start off with save the date for next year. That's coming up in May 17th at the Hill Country Youth Event Center. So
Okay.
mark that on your calendar and be prepared to party with us next year. And then we have quite a few events coming up over the next few weeks. First one is going to be our grant application Q&A class for all of our nonprofits that are interested in applying. Sarah Holcomb, which is one of our board members, and she also is a grant writer for Arms of Hope. She will be leading this class, and so it's just going to give you a bunch of tips and tricks.
Yes,
on-
and
Nice.
she did a phenomenal job 2 years ago writing their grant
Their grant.
application, which was our recipient
Right.
2 balls ago.
Yeah.
And so she's been on the board since that.
I think it's really great that they're doing that. It doesn't feel like, not that anybody would, but it's like gate kept, because sometimes some of that's overwhelming and everybody's
It's
always,
very
and there's a lot of nonprofits and all of them are deserving. But then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how do I even get my name in the game
And
that
that's
it's
what-
considered?
That's what Wednesday night's event is Sarah's going to kind of give you that tips and tricks on how to fill out a
Nice.
successful application for consideration.
Yeah.
Nice.
And even if you're not our recipient, maybe what they learn they can take and
And
apply
apply
that
it
to
forward.
other
Yeah.
grants.
I
That's,
know-
that's such a good thing though too, because I think like if you can provide that, that's a service that's really important. I just did a massive grant application for my business, even though I'm a for-profit. I still get some grants, and I tell you, it was laborious. Like,
It is.
and then like you always have these questions, and then I did coaching, which was useless, but I applaud you guys for providing that in there. It's so important, and like you said, it's good for the it's a good service to have to understand like that feedback
Yeah.
element of it as well.
Yes. Last year, when we were going through the grant applications and we saw so many that we just couldn't even consider because of the way that it was written or
Yeah.
how their costs were,
Yeah.
the money was going to be allocated.
So you're meeting them where they're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we sat at a table and kind of decided that was a goal for us for this ball season was to make that
Make
happen.
that work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I know
Absolutely.
Riverside Nature. I think we're planning. I'm on the board for Riverside Nature Center because there's talks like we're going to be putting in, and then as far as like the grant side, like I sit on like Big Fix, smaller, all these smaller little guys that are always looking for money. So it's always nice to learn any kind of like grant tips because you're up against a lot of other players.
Yes, I love the Nature Center, and I loved y'all's grant last year. The application was wonderful. So
Yes. Well,
Yes.
you'll be hearing from us again.
fantastic, love it.
You should make it interactive. Like you should bring like in like.
I'll talk to Chris Distel.
You should bring a badger in.
Chris does the grant.
If
Is
you had
doing
a
that, so
badger
we'll
and
have
you
to
send
like-
it-
we'll have to like
you send it
Becky,
back-
if you're watching,
Yeah.
get us a badger.
Yeah. Would you imagine if you sent a badger in? The badger like has a little tag on it that says.
Do that for
"You're-
Big Fix. How do y'all feel about feral cats?
Oh man.
I'll be like that lady from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go
All right,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
But then the next night, so that's Wednesday, and
Wednesday
then
at
Thursday
3:30. I
3:30.
will say it's in the middle of the day, so trying to accommodate those nonprofits to be
Yeah.
able to come in, so it's not at the end of the day. And then go ahead.
Yeah, the next day we're actually hosting trivia at the Arcadia.
That's right.
We're excited to do that. We are a total volunteer-based group. This year, I think we had 32, 33
Yes.
members, which is a small group of women. Normally, we're about 50. And so we're just taking this opportunity just to share who we are, what we do, why we do it, and how you can get involved, whether that's underwriting or joining and being part of our girl gang or
Yeah.
or whatever that looks like.
That's my next photo album. girl gangs to the charity ball.
I mean, we run deep.
There's some big ones there. There's
Yeah,
there's
I'm
the-
gonna say Charity Ball stole Girl Gang from us from roller derby
Yeah.
because we started it, but it's all right.
You know what? There should be a.
It's fine.
There should be a.
Everyone's got to start a
Look,
trend.
here's my girl gangs for you, right? At the
What's
charity
that?
ball. Here's number one is Amber Thomason and State Farm, Like a Good Neighbor. The Like a
Yes.
Good Neighbor girl gang. That's pretty big. Tinsley Real Estate. That's a pretty big one. If Laura Ford and her crew got rid of all the men, she could have a pretty good girl gang over there.
I mean, boys can still be allowed in girl gangs. They just have to be okay being part of a girl gang.
really?
Yeah.
Honestly, we couldn't do it without our men.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on now.
No, it's true.
Sure you could.
I think boys are allowed in
Yeah,
girl gangs.
absolutely.
They just have
Our
to be okay being in a
husbands-
girl gang.
Our husbands and boyfriends and
and-
kids
yeah.
and it's a family affair whenever
is.
you get down to it.
Yeah.
Everybody, nobody is left out.
Yeah, you get voluntold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you get voluntold. Do this. Do
And they
this.
do it with such grace.
They do it right. All right. So I'm sorry. Continue on. I'm just put me over here and
You're doing great.
run the show. Leslie, you're in charge.
So that's Thursday. 5:45 is when doors open. I'm sure that there are still tables. We will have a large presence there to answer questions and just really be there.
But you can even just go to trivia to watch.
Oh yeah.
I'm a trivia voyeur. I don't want to participate in trivia at all. Like, I'd rather go and watch. Like the time Lewis
Same.
hosted and will never host again.
I got banned.
He did a lot of crowd work though. It was like its own comedy show. So you can go and
It
watch
needs
trivia
that. It needed
and
that.
learn about
Yeah.
charity ball.
It's gonna be fun. I mean, if you have charity ball there, it's gonna be a good time. So, and then the next week we
Next
have
week we have our new member mixer, which is going to be Tuesday, June 25th at 6 p.m. at Sindera Springs.
Beautiful venue.
It is. Hannah Barron is
Hannah's
actually one of our
fantastic.
board members as well.
That makes sense. The
so-
girl knows how to put on an event.
Well, that's why it looks so gorgeous here.
Oh, and that's why we have a schedule and like
Yes.
everybody
No,
knows
she knows her
minute by minute.
She
knows
couldn't
her
do it.
stuff.
You couldn't do it out there, huh? Because it's too big, right?
Yeah, if y'all
Yeah.
had like a mini, you had like a smaller one in a different part of the. And that's and
Downsized.
you also feel like, please don't bring that up. That sounds like I'll have a stroke.
Yeah.
But I think if you ever had a capacity that you could do something smaller there. But you're too big for Sandera,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You could do quarterly.
Make it bigger, Hannah.
Gosh. We were 630 tickets this year. No, we are not doing a quarterly
You're gonna
event.
drive these women insane.
It takes us all year to put
I know.
on
I
this
know, and then
event.
all year to
Yeah.
decompress.
I mean, we just finished in
know.
May and we're already starting for
Yeah.
next year, so it's a full
I think
time.
I
I
get
think we
it.
took like 2 days off, Monday and Tuesday, and by
Maybe.
Wednesday we were
You're
back
already
at
back
it.
at it.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes with big events like that. If you
Yes.
want them done right,
Yeah.
We just had our wrap up meeting a couple weeks ago, and we're starting
starting over.
new year. Yep.
Yes. But that'll be awesome. That'll be 231 Avery Road, so it's out by James Avery. Just keep driving past it, the Avery
Mm-hmm.
offices and store. And we will, again, be there
It's a
in full
fiesta
effect.
theme.
Yes.
So show up in your bright colors and ready to party. There'll be door prizes, food and drinks. You'll get to meet the 2024-2025 executive board. And then also our other great ladies that are on the board and get to meet and greet and make some connections.
Very cool.
It will be a fun night.
Fun night of
Yes.
joy. What's your favorite part of the charity ball? When it's over or the planning?
I think I like the planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
My story's a little bit different. I would say that the friendships that came out of it.
Yeah.
When we moved here, I
That
knew.
wasn't one of my
Oh,
options.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
I
event
don't-
planning is trauma bonding, so
I
get
enjoy
it.
the friendships as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, but I moved here and I knew no one. So Drew, Allison Boucher actually told Drew, well, she needs to come to this. And my best friends here locally are because of Charity
Charity
Ball.
Ball, right.
It's a bond. It's maybe trauma bonding in some
It was
senses.
a joke. I worked in a hotel.
Oh, no.
Event planning is trauma. Is its own trauma.
Sometimes
It's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts, and sometimes you're just like in the thick of it, and you're
Yeah.
like, nobody else understands. I can talk to Drew about it, but he doesn't get it.
No.
And so I have to reach out to him
Yeah.
and be like, oh my gosh.
Only other people understand it
Yes.
if you've
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah,
I know.
I do the seating chart for 630 people for this event. So
Yeah. And
come
that's why
April-
people take Xanax.
I do the
Just kidding.
food, which, it's either a hit or miss. So it's like a lot of pressure. On
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what
it
Yes.
is. Menu planning is also its own
But
thing.
the good news is that like if you have like Stephanie and what's her little sister's name over at Cartwheels, they do a great job.
Oh, yeah.
They do. They do a phenomenal job.
I
The food
got
was
lectured
excellent.
by the way because I didn't have a meal from them from Stephanie Seafelt. She's like, well, I
They've
got.
noticed.
I noticed. I said, well, I can't really, I didn't want to say. I can't
mean,
really eat
I mean,
anything.
once you start telling them kind of like what your diet parameters are, I bet they could
Yeah.
meet you there.
Just give me a plate of nothing.
Lewis recently learned that he has diabetes.
Yes.
So he's having some lifestyle
I hope my
changes.
mom's not watching. I'm
Those
told her.
tamales.
Oh, sorry, Mom.
Jesus.
You already did it. You already broke
I
it.
know. Stop it.
Anyway,
You need to stop eating those tamales and chili.
Oh, yes.
that probably
Yes.
gave you celiac, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah.
It just sounds awful.
Oh, God. Yeah, it
I
sounds
can't
real
believe
bad.
you've never tried it.
I have no desire to
Listen.
either.
All right, continue on.
I want my tamales holistically
I think it
in
should be.
the
I think it
correct
should
way
be
by nature.
offered at the thing.
Old-fashioned
Somebody,
large.
yeah.
I doubt that we will
Somebody's
have
granny made
tamales.
it.
I don't think that we will offer those at.
I mean, it may
Cherry
be at
Ball.
the fiesta.
Maybe
mixer.
at the fiesta, or
That's
maybe
an
at a food
after-party
truck
snack.
after.
Yeah.
You can order from Amazon Prime, by the way.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Stop it.
And
okay.
that's why.
Keeps
All
getting
right.
worse.
But yes,
So-
so we just wrapped, and last Wednesday we were able to give K-Star a big check.
A
They were
well-deserving
thrilled,
nonprofit.
Yes,
They're
yes,
like the nicest people out there.
They
I
are.
love having them on the show.
yes, they're fun. It was our largest amount we've ever been able
Which
to
is
give.
fantastic.
For the children.
Yes.
And people come out for the children, and so we gave them $160,000 to renovate their emergency shelter.
And that is amazing.
Our community showed up in a
Well
big way.
deserved.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did. That was amazing. It's incredible. Like K-Star does so much good work in our community, and for them to get that benefit
Right.
was just
not only good
incredible.
work, vital work, like the
Right.
not fun work. They see things
hard
that
work.
most of us pretend like we don't, that don't happen.
By the way, tamales in a can, 990 milligrams of sodium.
That's terrible.
Shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tammy's one of our presidents this year. And
Oh,
so-
congratulations.
So, she's got a lofty goal.
Yeah.
To beat.
What is your goal?
Amber's.
Well, I mean, we
Over 160,000?
Yes.
Do you want to do like just 165,000? like whatever beats it.
Shooting for 200,000.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's stressful. Oh, my Lanta.
She's like, well, don't worry. We'll be stretching.
Can we fit 700 seats, Lacey?
Right.
No, we cannot.
It's a big challenge each year.
It's
But
exciting, though.
when you walk in, like the day of the ball, and you see it all, it's
Mm-hmm.
very,
It's amazing. It really is.
is.
It really is. So
Yeah.
there-
You transform an ag facility.
We do.
into a
we do.
beautiful Miami Nights. Yes.
Yes.
It's the only time when people don't look jaundiced in that particular.
That is true.
That
I
particular
can't believe
thing.
you're shilling for Hormel tamale. They're not even paying you.
I know. Look at
You
this.
got look at this.
Look at this.
Look at this.
Oh,
You're
see,
for free.
that's just
For
bad.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That just looks disgusting.
It is disgusting. That's why it's so good.
Does it come with that juice?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Chili sauce.
Question. Maybe.
No.
Tammy's gonna. You have that look.
My
like
son would eat that though.
you have that look like you want to vomit right
Yeah,
now.
so
I'm
gross.
sorry.
If I brought that home, maybe it would make my Hispanic grandmother like come back from the dead. And
It
make
probably
tamales.
would.
Yeah.
I mean, like we could try it.
You try it.
Yeah.
I mean,
anything's worth a shot,
oof,
right?
like I would be excommunicated
Conjure
from
her
my family.
from the grave.
I would. Like my aunts would have a heart attack.
What's funny is that my grandfather grew up eating tamales in Texas,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably from him.
Probably.
Yeah, he probably like I'm on the I can see it as being something that he probably had like when he was on the job somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I can't make them. I can't buy them in Kansas. I can get them
Well,
in
and
this
it keeps
can, though.
well.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
they still make it?
Oh yeah, you can get it at HEB.
HEB do better.
Oh man.
That's not a true Texan.
Yeah. No. That's that right there. You know what? That is. I said.
I just can't.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
truth.
white nationalism
Yeah.
right there.
I didn't want to say it at first, but then I said it. So, oh my gosh! All right. Anything else from you guys? You guys have done some important work today.
Yeah. So
We did.
I'll
Yeah, it's a
just-
big week for y'all.
I'll
Yeah.
close with make sure you log on to hillcountrycharityball.com and subscribe to our email, our newsletter. Stay in the loop for our upcoming events and then when ticket sales open. And then also follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest and greatest. Elena Stanley is our PR board member, and so she does a fantastic job at keeping the public updated. And we are going to be starting a new series on our social media platform soon, which is going to be spotlighting our members. So you'll get an up close and personal knowledge of each one of us that serve on the board.
And I think the other thing too and this reminded me of this too, and I've been very careful about how when I get stuff from you, I don't say Kerr County because Arms of Hope is a good example of this.
It's right there.
It's a hill country, event. So
yeah, and since it's right there on the Medina.
Yeah, and
County
there's
line.
other. I mean, there's a lot of deserving
There are.
nonprofits, but sometimes like Arms of Hope is a great example of this. And Sarah Holcomb is going to be. I'm just looking at your little pop-up link. That's so smart too. Come live Q&A. That is on Wednesday 3:30 at the Arcadia.
So Wednesday, and then you can come back for trivia night on Thursday to hang out with the Hill Country Charity Ball kids, and then you have your come join us party next week
On Tuesday.
on Tuesday. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
All right,
We're
did
busy.
it. We did it.
You do. You're very busy.
I'm very happy for you guys. Congratulations again on another fine event. I mean,
Thank you.
Thank you.
these events are just. I mean, I like it too. The other reason why I like it is because of the fact that it generates gigantic web traffic for me.
I know, that's why you
it
like
is
it.
the most viewed photo gallery of the year.
So what I hear is you want to be an underwriter next
That's
year.
what I'm hearing.
It's entirely possible that I would, I would do it, So there you go.
Good to know. Good to know.
I would be considering of it. I got to get to a certain point of making serious money, but we'll make sure. Here's their website, by the way. You can click on it and do stuff. Let me see.
And follow them on
Yeah.
the socials.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. So that's the live Q&A.
What would also be a cool, and maybe you already do this, so feel free to be like, shut up, Leslie. If also going back and revisiting your past recipients and what was done with the money.
We
Because
had Arms of Hope come back. at the
yeah,
event this
because I
year
know
last
just
week.
different way, but on the social media channels.
Oh, yeah.
Like just
That's a
and then
great idea.
they can talk about this was how much we benefited and this is what happened with that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like
I hope Elena's listening.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
unsolicited advice.
Yeah.
But
No, I
it'd be
love
cool
it.
because you've so many because then you mentioned there was some people that gave you pushback about Arcadia, but then you could have Stacy sit and talk about, well, this is how much we've benefited because of this, and talk about how it all ties in, about how the new seating at Hill Country Arts Foundation with the Point Theater. I think there's a way to sit and revisit it, and then it makes it evergreen, and you can share it any old time. Anyway,
That's
stuff.
great. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah.
It worked well. Well done, everybody. I'm very proud of the work you guys are doing, and it's important stuff too. So, if you go to one event every year, the charity ball is usually the best one to go to. Then there's the fur ball, and then there's that other thing, the gambling thing that we had fun with that gambling thing.
Yeah, the casino night.
casino-
Oh,
night.
casino night. Yes,
Yeah.
that is a fun night.
Right.
There's a lot of really great organizations that
Yeah.
put on fun things.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Good job.
Thanks. Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys later.
All right. See ya.
All right.
Goodbye.
Next
Y'all
up,
have a good week.
Andrew Gay and Gilbert Pies, who've been on his phone the entire time, didn't even laugh at our white supremacist jokes.
I know.
I mean, what the heck?
God.
man?
It's
All
like I
right.
work for
Thank
free
you, guys.
here.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Y'all have a great day.
Yes.
We didn't even get to talk about Drew's Lulu britches.
You'll have to come back.
Oh yeah, Drew Paxton has amazing pants, by the way. He wears Lululemon, and he looks good in those jeans.
He's a Lululemon girly,
Yeah.
a man of high taste.
What are you guys doing? What do you guys got going on? Anything important?
It's Monday. I'm trying to snap back to reality.
Andrew, I need you to host a show on June 28th. Can you do it?
Possibly. I'll have to look at my calendar.
I'm sure you can do it. It's that far out. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I know we got some stuff on.
Gilbert, his
in the-
agent, said yes, he can.
I'm sure, but I don't think we have
brother out.
anything scheduled.
Big day today. Gilbert is doing his first ever
Yeah, EIC.
EIC meeting. How does it feel?
Probably like the first day of high school. You're new and you don't know what's going on, and you're looking around and hoping you don't find some
I
senior
hope you
that
take a
doesn't like you
picture.
and
I hope you take
punches
your
in the
first
face.
EIC meeting picture. Your wife takes it.
Well, it's interesting, but it's not that big a deal, I don't think. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
Drew Paxton says that he will go if only there are canned tamales being served. So there you go. Did you hear the canned tamales
Yes, I heard
conversation?
I heard you talking about the tamales.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care how bad they are for you. I'll eat a dozen of them.
Look,
in
there they
one
are.
sitting.
There they are.
I try not to eat them out of a can.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
we
not
have-
those though. Not those.
There's a
Yeah. I was like, no, you won't. Not those.
we were cleaning out our freezer yesterday, and I found some in the back of the freezer.
Did you?
Yeah. they've been there
Really?
since
Really?
Christmas.
Yuck.
I guess that's
actually, they're
not
probably
all.
no. That's
They're
probably
probably
not.
still good.
They're probably still good.
Yeah.
We left them in there.
No, yeah, those, you'll be all right.
They're wrapped up.
Take
nice
them
and
out,
tight.
let them thaw, and then
only been
steam
6
them.
months.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Tamales, so good. I will say this about HEB though. They do have pretty good in-house tamales.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not. That I agree. They're
They
not
scratch
bad.
an itch.
Yeah. So, all right. Boy, what's going on in the economy today? Anything?
Yeah, a lot. We had a blowout week last week. We had a lot of
Did you?
economic data.
Really?
The
Yes.
Fed met. Yeah, so markets are still holding on to gains, but we got softer than anticipated consumer inflation and producer inflation, so that was kind of good for the markets. Over the weekend, there was a Fed president that did, what's the name of that show? It's Face the Nation. I
Yeah.
forgot who does that. Neil Kashkari was on there, and he's the Minneapolis Fed president, and he basically said, he was willing to bet that the adjustment that we saw from the Fed in their narrative around when they're going to cut interest rates this past week, reducing that median outlook between all 19 members, the median was that there was going to be one rate cut this year. So
Yeah.
he echoed that this weekend. So that's kind of what has got markets' attention as we kick off the week. This week we got retail sales coming in tomorrow, which is a big consumer spending metric. And we're loaded with a bunch of Fed governors that are going to speak this week, too. So that's really kind of the gist of what markets are watching.
The New York Times is reporting right now that the Surgeon General is calling for warning labels on all social media platforms. So,
That's probably not a bad idea.
yeah,
Yeah, it's probably not.
probably not a bad idea at all. So,
I was just having a conversation yesterday about how much social media echoes what you think. Like it can be a good information resource, but if you're not aware of what you're feeding it,
Well, if you don't have any literacy on it either.
Yeah, and you don't understand that, like, the time that you spend. Number one, it's addicting. That was what the conversation I had
Well, it's
yesterday
designed
was.
to be.
And it's right. And TikTok's the worst, right? It's like TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram, and then Facebook, and then it's those reels, right? And you're scrolling through the feed. And
Yeah.
how many times I've been sitting on my couch in the evening after a long day or whatever, and my wife are sitting there, and the next thing we know, we've been on our phones for like 30 minutes
Right.
or an hour. And it's like, if you're not aware of that, you can feel it too. Like, oh, I should get off my phone. And you're like, no, just one more. And you keep scrolling, right? And that's eat your time, man. And you need to be aware of that kind of stuff.
yeah.
I could draw an easy parallel there between awareness and it's just like some of the stuff Gilbert and I deal with in the financial world. Like, you need to be aware of where you're spending money in your budget. There's a lot of benefit that can come out of just mindfulness and awareness.
Right.
But social media is terrible about that, I think.
By the way, speaking of social media, I want to give some context to the discussion we were having earlier about the A&M fans.
Yeah,
and it's like
the two dudes.
The more you read about it, the more awful it begins. If you're confused what those two idiots were yelling about, it goes back to a thing that one of these idiots from Barstool posted. The video referenced a Mindy O'Sullivan, who's the wife of the coach of Florida, had her two sons murdered by her husband, and the Aggie fans appear to have taken the word of videos on the internet. Because it designed to make the coach look bad from Florida, and these guys were basically playing on that trope that this guy caused the murder of these two boys, and I mean that's how vile it is, and this is coming from a social media post.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And the Omaha Police Officers Association was the one that came out and said, hopefully you guys are banned. They showed pictures of the two guys. It is ugly.
Just speaking of that kind of influence from social media, I just saw an article, and I can't remember if I sent it to you or not, but it was from, I have to try to dig it up and I'll send it to you, but it was like a new survey that showed that there was a lot of, I guess, damage in one form or another being done from unsolicited financial advice through social media platforms.
Yeah.
From people that were not licensed, that didn't know what they were talking about, that had conflicts of interest that were not
It's because everybody wants to be an influencer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
they
like
make money these days.
And then, oh my gosh, the explosion of what we've seen after 2021, when you had the Roaring Kitty thing with Wall Street Bets and GameStop stock and the meme stock craze, right? And like the flood of retail traders that have been that have come to the market since then, it's been crazy. Everywhere you turn, if you check out any of that kind of content, financial content, market related content online, you'll start getting ads immediately for like, hey, follow my trading program. Hey, and it's just some kid that because they can do that. They're not licensed. There's no regulatory oversight. They can say whatever they want. Doesn't have to be true. Doesn't have to be back tested. Doesn't have to have context. Doesn't have to have historical evidence. They can just say whatever they want. And they're like, oh, I got the best trading strategy out there. Like, buy my program and I'll show you how to day trade. And I mean, it's just it's wild.
Oh, wait, whenever it says something like buy my program, that should be your first red flag.
You know what's crazy though is there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't, because of ClickFunnels and the way the soliciting and advertising works, targeted ads, there is a lot of that out there, and it's masked as something else.
Right.
So like you go through that, and the next thing you know, if you click 2 times further down the funnel, they're asking you to buy their book. Right, I get stuff sent to me all the time. I would say that's the other equivalent. Is if it's not buy my program, it's buy my book, right? And emails from clients that get stuff, and I can't tell you the most, the bulk of the content of what I've seen is basically fear mongering or fear related. The market's going to crash, the economy, we're heading to Armageddon, and you start reading it, and a lot of them are really like hardcore right-wing stuff, but there's some other stuff that exists out there too that I've seen, but mainly it plays on some kind of fear like that, and then at the very end of it, it's like, yeah, buy my book.
Right.
It's like,
Well, there's business in fear.
well, sure, but people read it as a media, as like a news source, and they take it as a news source, and they don't realize it's a solicitation. There's a big difference.
I think social media has influenced a lot of young people to the idea that win at all costs, no matter what it takes. So whether that's hurting people,
Being
degrading the other side, lying, being deceitful, use whatever means possible to beat the other side, which is really, really sad. And those guys, why would you even do that? What is wrong with you? Don't you realize that there's a human being on the other side of that? What the hell is wrong with you?
There's no thought. There's no thought.
And there's no individualized, which is why what creates value for what we do and drives value for the most part of what we do is because it's individualized advice. Because most people, even if they can target you and find you through advertising, doesn't mean they know you, know your story, and know the context of your life, and know what's best for you.
Did y'all hear about the young lady that was using the N-word on the internet on a TikTok video? She was
I did.
cooking.
I heard about that.
And then she got fired.
She's trying to become a specific kind of influencer in a specific kind of area of politicalness.
Trad wife or traditional wife.
It's something like that.
That stuff's alarming, by the way.
There was another another big content creator that she's trying to copy. Her name's Pearl, and so she's trying to follow her footsteps. But she's not she's failing. And it's honestly, she's failing in the places that she should be because they don't find her traditional enough or white enough. It's really interesting what's happening.
Yeah.
And then also it's not hitting with like even the more middle of the road guys because they're like, we didn't ask for this. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah. Social media, I think, has distorted a lot of people's views of the world. And a lot of people think that, well, if it's on social media, either it's true or in order to get enough attention, I have to be so outrageous and...
Yeah, well, they're monetizing. They're trying to monetize their platform.
Yes.
Exactly. And
that's the incentive.
There's nothing wrong with a company or business trying to do those things, monetize their ability to gather an audience, but... When you have to go out of your way and use shock value to get attention, that doesn't make any sense to me.
But it's been going on forever.
It has. And
that's how Howard Stern built himself.
Okay, but that's how artists have been doing that for decades. Look at like hip hop artists. The more crazy like stuff they can wear, the crazier their image, the more attention they get. And I mentioned this. I think it was last week. We talked about it. You do whatever it takes. Be controversial. Be the outlier outlier to get the attention on social media. And if you get the following, you can use social media platforms to basically flip a switch and all of a sudden, hey, buy my book, buy my program,
Yeah.
buy my merch.
Yeah.
Buy my stuff.
But as long as you got the following, like what was Liver King? Y'all remember him?
Yeah.
You heard about him, right? Through Snapchat. He was like this jack dude that was clearly eating babies in HGH for breakfast, but like
He was on steroids, claiming he wasn't on steroids.
Yeah.
Eat beef, raw beef liver
Yeah.
and beef testicles raw, and like
Yeah.
do all this stuff, and you'll look like me. And then it came out that it was like he was taking an ungodly amount of steroids per month. He was spending like 40 grand on steroids per month. But
Can you
guess what?
imagine being
But
that
guess what?
delusional?
He still has a following, and people
Yeah.
still follow him, and he's
Right.
still making money through revenue streams based through social media, just because he got the following and then was able to flip the switch.
Yeah.
And so there's not. It doesn't show and disclose the true incentive behind
I
what
think-
you're being marketed.
I think like those A&M students that were
No.
They're not. These are grown men.
These are grown
These
men.
are.
Oh, I'm
sorry,
yeah,
those
they're
A&M
literally
supporters.
very much middle aged.
A&M supporters, then what people have to remember is that at some point down the road, no matter who you are and what you do, there will be consequences to your actions. So
Yeah.
whether it's this trad wife lady that was using the N word,
Broke ass.
yeah,
She said broke ass.
she's- She got fired from her job apparently, and she put out another video on TikTok, claiming
She doubled
that,
down.
Yeah,
and she didn't do it because I think she took that down because of the backlash. Went to
Yeah.
Twitter and Instagram, and then was like, "Thanks for basically setting me up for success," and then doubled down, and then
Right.
has continued just to see a fallout. I don't
Right.
think she was anticipating.
Well, look at those two gentlemen that for A&M. You better believe that at some point down the road, there's going to be some consequences to
Yeah.
them too. Probably personally. Now, what do a lot of people do when they get consequences? They either double down, or triple down, or they do something that really is probably isn't really good. Because unfortunately what we've done in our society is we've taken away people's reasons to apologize and say, you know what, man, I really screwed up. I am really sorry about that. I really need to think about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And a lot of people don't do that anymore. They just say, screw it. I'm going to just double down on this thing and go harder.
Well, a lot of people don't realize when you have when there's enough people watching, you need a PR crisis team because what you think you're going to say isn't going to land.
The way you think.
May not.
And now you need somebody to help you start guiding through that because it's going to be a journey.
And a good example of consequences, and it might take a long time, and I think a good one is like Diddy. He for years was accused of doing things that weren't really appropriate, weren't really nice, were downright jerkish. I guess there's another word for
The
that. but
video of him beating his girlfriend.
but as soon as that video came out,
like-
all of a sudden people start backing up, and then
Yeah.
you start seeing. I even saw in the this newspaper this weekend in the Wall Street Journal, Howard University that had given him a honorary degree or something.
They rescinded it.
They rescinded it and said, "Hey, yeah, we're not part of that." Everybody at some point will have consequences,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of these people.
Sometimes.
Well, I think you're right.
I think there's outliers that fall
It's
through the
hard
cracks,
to see that sometimes.
I think sometimes it's timing
Sure.
and what else is going on
Sure.
because it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of people, their popularity is on a upswing, and so they're untouchable.
Well,
But
you
at
know,
some point,
Well, I think there's factors into making what makes
two,
them
I like
untouchable.
two factors that I did not want to accept personally. I didn't want to accept the Lance Armstrong story. I thought hey, he's got a really great story, and I had a friend, a colleague who I'd worked with who had known him because he'd worked in Austin, who said that guy's an asshole, and do not be surprised if that's true. And I was like, I can't be.
Right.
It can't be. He had testicular cancer.
But multiple things can be true at the same time.
Right. And he was just cheating up a storm. And then Bill Cosby. Like, oh, Bill Cosby couldn't have done that.
I know that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
I mean,
but here's what the
the
lady
whole thing.
said, the trad wife thing, which
It's
is a weird-
heartbreaking for the women.
This is what this
Right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't
Just
mean
making-
I didn't
we're
mean
gonna-
just for him. Sorry, should put some
I
context
just
around.
wanna make
No,
sure.
just the whole situation. Like the
well,
fact
I
that
don't
he
think
was
I would
this.
use the word heartbreaking for any of that stuff,
Yeah.
but.
Well, no,
is
no,
it-
I get what
It's a
Andrew's-
tragic
I get what
story that
Andrew's
it's like
saying,
this
for
American idol that was a part of my childhood, right? But yes, all the victims. I'm talking about the entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's a big letdown with tragedy.
For anybody growing up, Bill Cosby was a guy who he redefined racial barriers, or broke some racial barriers, redefined what a black family would look like in
comedy.
And yet at the same time there was this monster lurking who was just gross, and that is tough. And all these women have suffered because of his behavior, and I think because of that facade that we put on actors and celebrities.
When you put people, a human being on a pedestal,
right?
Yeah.
Humans are flawed.
Yeah.
And it's just a variation of where where that falls on that scale.
I mean, Tawny Fontaine Jenner's a human, and she's flawed.
By the way, Tawny wants you to know, Gilbert, that you need to wear a tie to the EAC meeting.
No, you don't. Kyle Bond doesn't wear a tie. Kyle Bond doesn't even wear pants half the
Great
time.
comment, Tawny. That was really funny. You should wear a tie. You should wear a tie with that shirt.
That trad
It
wife,
should just
though,
have Tawny Fontaine
did you read
Jenner
the
on
quote that she said? Thanks Black community for helping me to launch my new career in conservative media. You all played your role well, like the puppets you are.
Yep. She doubled down.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. She doubled down because she knows it'll get views.
Yeah.
And it'll get clicks, and it'll get shares.
It's the epitome of doing anything you can to get a following.
You want me to think Tucker Carlson believes everything he sells? He doesn't. He likes being hated.
Yes. And it drives, and it supports him and his family and his wants and his wishes and his travel plans.
I mean, it's one way to sell your soul. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but people have to realize too that sometimes the people that are the most vile people, the best thing that you can do is ignore them.
Yeah.
Because what they are counting on is an audience, and
So they want a
even-
reaction.
Yeah. So bad publicity is still publicity. I think a lot of actors, a lot of people in the celebrity world, it
elected a president.
Yeah, they figure out. You know what?
Donald
Bad
Trump
publicity-
said, "I grab him by the pussy," and we elected him. This nation elected him as a president.
Sure did.
It's
Sure did.
embarrassing.
Yeah. So
Leslie.
a lot of people do that on purpose because they figure,
Yeah.
the crazier I am, the more attention I'll get, and even if it's bad attention, it's still attention. And that's so sad. It really is a messed up thing. We as human beings have to understand that we're always being sold to, and as long as we recognize that, whether it's an actor, a product, a service, like me and Andrew do, whether it's news, media, whatever it is, we're always being sold to. You always have to remember that first. Nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, you may not know a lot of stuff that's going on, but you always have to recognize, like Andrew says, why is this information and making it to me? And social media is the king of, well, it's because you asked for it.
Yeah.
And you keep interacting with it, we're going to show you more of it.
Well, that's a story, like we've talked about this before, Leslie, the whole creator economy that's on, on YouTube is like,
it's like a career path now.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's kids that just think like, no, it's like a quick fix on money.
Well, it's like scratching a lottery ticket, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like playing professional sports to try to land a professional contract
interesting
after
to watch.
college.
Yeah.
It's like, the statistics are not in your favor.
No.
But if you can invest the money and the time and the energy and just do it.
If you can be completely outrageous.
Right.
Too.
And then you get lucky.
Yeah.
Like Homegirl, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
You're just banking on the fact that you get lucky. You do something that's
sometimes
outlandish.
the stars align. And
right?
it is a timing thing. I think it's a timing on what's going on in general, what's already dominating headlines. Like it's all its own algorithm.
Yeah.
Right. So,
But eventually, it will catch up to the people that are doing those things. And eventually, there'll be some kind of reckoning. Good or bad, indifferent, I don't know. But eventually, something will happen. And it'll catch up to them. That's all I can say.
So to rein this back in,
Yeah.
don't listen to financial advice on social
You
media
should
channels.
vet your financial advice.
You should buy our book.
You should vet most of the advice.
And you should buy a book.
Yeah.
But seriously, if you ever have anything, like if you're listening to this right now and you ever come into contact with anything, you're like, I'm not sure about this, send it to us. You can forward it to our email. You can call us, whatever. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. We do that all the time.
We have clients come in all the time, or several times have had people, their loved ones send them videos about some financial topic, and they're worried about it. And I look at it and I tell them, well, okay, let me explain a little bit about what's going on here. And some of these videos, especially on social media, they mix in half truths true things that are going on, but then they throw in a bunch of opinion and other BS that really confuses the issue.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, you know, me and Andrew do have a product to sell, financial advice. But we also have the idea that, you know what, our first job is to help people, not screw you, not lie to you, tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Are we perfect? No, because we don't have a magic 8-ball that will tell us what's going to happen in the future. But we do everything that we can to explain to people, hey, listen, think about this, or think about that, or this is why this is not accurate. We're always trying to come at it from the standpoint of how can we help you first.
Right.
And it's interesting with those clips. This is the last thing I'll say is I mentioned last week on your show the main three mistakes that investors make, and it's trying to time the market, right? Assuming today's negative headlines is make it a bad time to invest, and focusing way too much on the short term. That's all three of them. And if you look at most of the financial advice, blurbs, whatever, that make it to you through especially through social media, they're usually going against one of those three things. They're trying to make you break away from either thinking it's a bad time to invest, and they're doubling down on that and saying it's a bad time. You should, whatever, you should listen to me, buy my book, buy my program, trying to time the market. Hey, you shouldn't be in the market right now. You should be in the market right now. Listen to me, buy my program, or focusing too much on the short term. Oh, the Fed's going to cut rates. Okay, well, that doesn't matter to a 30-year time horizon like investor, right? But they want you to focus on the short term because they want you to buy their book or their program. So
I like those guys on the social media who start an LLC and then borrow $500 from your wife and then
they're like as creative as they can get. And they'll be like to make them sound like they know more.
Like that just sounds crazy.
Than the smarter,
that sounds like Robert Kiyosaki stuff.
Yeah, and it's the equivalent of throwing, lingo at you, like in terms, so it make it sound like really, really
sophisticated.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme on top of a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. So that there's plenty of that.
And I look at that and I'm like, I wonder how real that is. I mean, that just seems crazy.
So I'll tell you some of that stuff that just from my personal glance at it.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff might hold water, it might be real, but does it mean, once again, the individualized part, does that mean that that's right for you,
right?
Does that mean you need to overcomplicate your financial picture, or is there a simpler way for you to do it? Who knows? That person doesn't know you. They could care less, right? But doesn't mean it's right for you.
Very good stuff.
There you go.
There we go. We figured it all out today, as usual. Andrew Gay giving us clarity on the whole thing. Gilbert, are you excited about EIC today?
I'm sorry?
Are you excited about EIC?
Yes, I'm really excited. I want to participate. I want to be a good board member. I want to understand what's going on. I want to see how I can help the other board members in advancing the needs of Kerrville, because, I live here too, and I want what's best for all of us that live here.
Yeah.
And if you think that we're the only ones that are ever going to be here, well, you're sadly mistaken.
You're sadly mistaken.
There are other people that are going to come here. There are other people that should be here. We need to do our best to help advance the city of Kerrville and plan for the future, because one thing's for sure, things will change.
Right.
And we have to plan for that. And if we don't plan for it wisely, we're just going to muck it up, and there's no fun there. So I'm excited about participating, and I hope I can be a productive member of
You will be. You will be.
We have no doubts.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure, but I will
Louis,
do my
you better
best.
go take his picture before he leaves today. Go take his picture at work.
Yeah.
Before his first EIC meeting.
You can wear that. It's okay. Don't worry about that. You're going to sit next to Greg Appel, though.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure who. If Greg has any sense, he probably won't sit next to me.
No, I don't think you have a choice.
Far away.
Yeah, you're taking over. You're taking John Anderson's spot.
Now it's in the city hall, right? I mean, we're in the city council chambers,
yes.
right? I mean,
you sit on the dais.
Fun.
Yes.
You should sit in Joe Herring's chair. I'm just joking.
I'm sure that's reserved for the chairman of the.
That's Kim Clarkson's chair. Don't mess with
You
Kim
got to
Clarkson.
assert dominance on the first day.
Yeah.
Hey, you learned nothing in prison.
Yeah, come on. All right, first thing
Prison rules.
First thing you do is you stab somebody.
You go after that. You go after the biggest, baddest inmate, right? First. This way, everybody thinks you're crazy and they leave you alone.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
I didn't like to be anybody.
How do you think Kim got there? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do my best just to not get shanked myself. So I'll go
Good
sit
plan.
over there.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Who's this guy? What does he know?
Yeah. I don't want to cause too many waves the first day.
Yeah, right. Boy, here's a headline for you. Bikini barista. I didn't know that's still a thing.
Yeah. There are a lot along the Pacific,
Yeah.
the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, we had a few of them in California. I don't know how they made out.
I know they're pretty prevalent up in
Yeah.
Oregon and Washington.
Guy threw coffee at her and she took a hammer to his windshield.
Good for her.
Yeah,
Where's your bail fund?
yeah, yeah.
I'll
right.
put money in it.
Exactly.
Sounds like an expensive cup of coffee.
Right. But Elon Musk's Neuralink forced a pregnant employee to work with herpes-infected monkeys.
There was a series of Wall Street Journal articles about his.
That just hit all your favorite things.
Yeah.
His baby mamas and his kids.
Well, no, about his relationship with several employees of SpaceX, and you know, you kind of read those things, and you're just like, man, really? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
It
for him and the employees, it wasn't buy my book. It was have my kids.
Have my kids, right.
or have sex with me, or have a relationship with me
Yeah.
outside of work, which is, you know, should be totally frowned upon, and say, listen, you know,
He has 10 kids.
I was about to say, I think, from my understanding, a lot of the proposition was, will you have my kids?
Yeah.
Like he realized that he could just spread his seed as much as he
It's a
could.
little eugenicsy.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
trying to make like a super population of smart people.
Yeah.
even Elon at some point will have some kind of consequences to bear, because that's really not a smart.
Yeah, it's all the
business
pictures
practice.
before he could afford hair plugs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a really smart way to run
No.
a business. When you're mixing business and pleasure, that's a serious problem.
He's just gross.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just
he's-
weird.
Yeah.
he's at a
Why would you
different
do
level.
that?
I don't think he
Now-
has a life
you-
outside of who he is, like what he does in his work. His identity is so tied up in that.
Yeah.
I don't think he has another part of him that exists outside of that.
Could be. I don't know, but it's weird.
By the way, Nissan's
is
bringing back the Z, and there's a guy driving around here who drives. There's a couple of vintage Datsun 240Zs or 280Zs or 260Zs that are just, man, they're sharp looking cars still to this day. And I'm not a nostalgia person at all, but boy, this looks good. This looks good. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, how exciting.
It's just
I
gone
know.
down
I'm sorry.
Back in the late '80s, early '90s, those were
That was the car.
it was.
I had a
you'd see one pull
Matchbox
up.
car of a fleet of them. So anyway,
Yeah, those are beautiful.
all right. Anything else going on?
Let's see. This week we've got new home sales coming out. I think on Wednesday.
Retail sales tomorrow.
Yes, retail sales tomorrow. This Wednesday, of course, is Juneteenth, so it's a
will
federal
be closed.
holiday. Stock market's closed.
Good.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
so I'll be out Wednesday
Yep.
if you're going to be doing a show.
Oh,
I'll probably be sleeping in if I'm
Right.
lucky enough.
right.
Come hang out. Come hang out with them.
I might I'll see if I'm awake. It might be like running or
We'll
doing
have
something
people.
weird.
You just need to relax. You need to relax. You just need to have a day off, and
That's kind of what I was planning on doing. I was talking about it with Beth last night. I was like, it's in the middle of the week. Again, just the market's closed, so I don't have like FOMO anxiety. So that sounds good.
Bill Gates.
Thanks
is
for the validation. I
Bill
appreciate
Gates
that.
is going to build a nuclear power plant.
Okay.
Yeah, they were talking about building these mini nuclear
Yeah.
power plants that,
Mike Withers a big believer in them. Yeah, it's K-Pub CEO. He thinks they're years away, but Bill Gates is backing one in Wyoming. So there you go.
I read a thing, speaking of power plants,
I know.
I read a thing about in Chernobyl. They're noticing that the bores there are getting more radioactive
Really?
because they root down into the dirt,
Ugh.
and it's more radioactive the deeper you dig.
Yeah.
And the deer that are there that are eating everything at topside are getting less radioactive.
I actually heard that they were doing.
And then I was like, super radioactive boars at Chernobyl sounds terrifying.
Can you imagine the tusks, like the
Yeah.
crazy
Anyway,
radioactive
sorry.
hogs?
Yeah, they got
no,
you.
I read that they were doing a study on wolves in that area that had been exposed to radiation.
And the
and-
dogs there?
Yeah, and their genes had mutated to fight off cancerous cells.
Yep.
And so now they're trying to figure out what mutated
is.
the
Right.
genome to stave off the
Well,
cancers.
sometimes there's positives and negatives, I guess.
Can you
I don't
imagine
know.
if the cure for cancer
Cancer?
came out of
Chernobyl?
Chernobyl.
radioactive wolf
Yeah.
How
mutated
the universe
mutated
works
wolves?
in mysterious
If
ways.
you want to watch a heartbreaking.
The
chilling-
cure will never come because
Full
Big
circle
Pharma won't let
moment.
us have
Yeah.
it, so it's all good.
If you want to watch a chilling docuseries, watch Chernobyl on HBO Max. Hard to
I
watch.
love that. I love that series. I've seen it twice.
Yeah, it is really good, but it's tough because the Soviets were just so in so much
Ignorant.
denial and ignorant,
And they didn't care,
Yeah.
and they just put so many people in harm's
Yeah,
way
right.
because they were just like, just fix it.
Fix
and they
it.
just throw people at it, which is their
Fly a
common
helicopter
solution,
over it.
right?
Yeah.
All those firefighters who died,
They were picking up pieces of radioactive granite
Yeah.
off of the ground.
yeah, and the guy
the
was
granite
like, and
from
the
the
guy
rods.
who was the plant manager who probably
the guy,
who probably should have been executed.
Yeah, the main dude.
Yeah.
That like threw up in the boardroom.
Yeah, right. So
Anyway, good series.
Good
stuff.
series.
Okay, don't forget, I need to read our disclosure as
Yeah.
you exit. There we go. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Next Financial Group, member of FINRA SIPC. Texas Hill Country Advisors, not an affiliate of Next. This material is not intended as an offer, solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security or other financial instrument. Past performance does not guarantee future performance. All the views expressed are those of Andrew Gay and Gilbert Pies and Texas Hill Country Advisors, and not those of Next. The S&P 500 is a market cap-weighted index composed of common stocks of 500 leading companies and leading industries of the U.S. economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is a price-weighted index of 30 actively traded blue-chip stocks.
all right, good job, everybody. Well, that's what you learned today.
We covered a lot of things
Yeah, we
today. Start with Gilbert.
Gilbert, what you
Go
learn?
back to me.
Charity Bowl donated 100 and how much?
160,000.
Yeah.
The
60,000
most
to-
they've ever raised.
Man, that's a lot of money for one night, and to a wonderful organization. Keystone.
Yes. Well deserving.
Andrew, what'd you learn?
Man, I enjoyed listening to your list of events. There's so much stuff going on,
There's
and
a
it got
lot
me
of
thinking about this
stuff.
upcoming weekend, and so I hadn't really thought about that up until this show. So technically, I guess I learned
All right.
what's happening this week.
All right, I have mine.
Okay.
I have to go Google whatever that Nissan Z or whatever you told me about it. I
Nissan
don't-
Z.
I have to remember what those look
Yeah,
like.
good. I had
Beautiful
to do
car.
that.
Beautiful car.
So
Yeah.
that's what I learned today.
All right.
And it's coming back.
It's coming back. All right, tomorrow's show, Janelle Peralt will be here. Doug Hetzer will be here. Wednesday, we got a big show, too. We got big shows throughout the week here on The Lead Live. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.